on behalf of the people. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members of the Navajo Nation Council, Vice President Jim and I are pleased to join you for the fall session. I do hope you had my report at your desk here. As we open this session, I want to emphasize the importance of this month. The First Lady, my wife, Miss Martha Shelly, is working hard to make families safer. As we think of our families, elderly, parents, and children, remember your prayers and thoughts of the many who are victims to domestic violence. While at the White House last week, I reaffirmed the support for the Reauthorization of Violence Against Women Act going through Congress now. This act will increase our ability to respond immediately with more law enforcement to domestic violence. Only together and through our leadership can we put an end to this sad problem of the Navajo Nation. Economic prosperity is a cornerstone of our administration. This summer, Navajo businessmen and women formed the Chambers of Commerce. It is the first step for our Navajo business to advance the economic climate of the Navajo Nation. For years, government has been a big part of the private sectors. Business and opportunity has revolved around government. Today, it is time for Navajo business to take a lead role in shaping our future growth. The new Navajo Chambers of Commerce is rebuilding the Navajo Business Opportunity Act to eliminate bureaucracy. The act is old and failed to respond to a growing business community. Enforcement is neglected. Government contracts are often awarded to outside firms over Navajo business. A small but important step we want to take it to educate our government with every part of the new act once it's passed it. It is time to lift the spirit of our business leaders and appeal to the young, as well the established business community. I thank the Navajo Chambers of Commerce Steering Group for their vision and hard work. Individuals like Carkel Nez, Jesse Seiko, Lester Begay, Pete Nez, Jennifer Gibson, and Geneva Peter are leading the ways to shaping the Navajo Chambers of Commerce. Our way of life is under assault. Our sacred sites are compromised when business go too far. Last month, I testified before the United Nations Human Rights Council to protect the San Francisco Peak. The American legal system turned a blind eye to our sacred sites, ceremonies, and beliefs. Legal opinion and court proceeding ignore our values. We ask the United Nations to strengthen our appeal to the United States. We will take every available action. We will sacrifice. We will reach around the world to protect what is ours, just as we have done even before 1868. We must act always for the best interests of our futures. In the first session of the 111th Congress, days following President Obama's oath of office, the National Park Bill was passed and signed into law. This federal legislation is significant. It authorized the funding of Navajo Gallup Water Pipeline, a water delivery system that will bring water for the first time to many of our communities along U.S. Highway 491, from Shiprock to Gallup and the surrounding areas. And authorizing a bill is always a good start. It takes us some 30 years to get here. The large task is appropriation. Navajo has worked it hard. This last week, the White House put our projects on a priority list. are just one of the 14 national infrastructure projects. The first of the construction funding was passed by Congress, $24 million. An additional $60 million is funded through the Bureau of Reclamation. This project will bring hundreds of jobs to Navajo. Members of the council, the Navajo Gulf Water Supply Project is now underway. In 2007, several of us tribal leaders who were advisors to the United States Department of Health and Human Services discussed the idea of ID cards. Our discussion centered around the hardship our tribal members faced every time we had to prove our citizenship. They shared it with the HHS Secretary to create a tribal identification card that could be widely used to show tribal enrollment. Today, Vice President Jim and I are pleased to announce that the Navajo Office of Vital Records will launch a new tribal ID card on 11/11/11. This ID is an important symbol of our sovereignty. It passed federal standard for identification. We choose 11/11/11 to honor our veterans. On Friday, November 11th, veteran and Navajo people can come to Winter Rock Census Office and purchase their ID cards. Agency office will be set up in the future for processing ID card application. It can be used at airport, government buildings, and hospitals, and even crossing into Canada and Mexico. It will bear a CIB tribal enrollment number and a place of birth. It goes beyond the challenge of American citizen. It proves we are a nation, a First Nation people. We're advancing to the future, a future in an age of technology and security. We are leading the way by providing higher level and security for our members. It safeguards your privacy. Our team worked last week in preparation of 11/11/11, the launch date for our tribal ID. You can see more at www.yoursnationyoursi.d.com. I have some troubling news for you today. The United States Department of Health and Human Services is investigating our Head Start program. They are saying we have overspent. We have responded to their question and made corrective action. Last month, our response team met with Head Start Director in Washington and outlined a plan to make it right. We gave our commitment to Washington that we will fix Head Start. We have already begun. Our nation receives hundreds of millions in federal funds every year. The new fiscal year began 17 days ago, and Congress has not passed a single appropriation act out of the 12 annual spending bill. Instead, they passed another continuing resolution to operate the government for now. Here are the facts in Washington. With the close of fiscal year 2011, the government spent more than $1.6 trillion in deficit spending for a single year. It is the highest deficit spending in history. Faced with federal spending that is out of control, Congress created a budget deficit super committee with members from both parties. The committee is charged with making stiff budget cuts for every agency, including those that funds our projects and programs. We have met with committee members to keep more funding for Indian programs. But let's be honest, cuts will be made. What we have done instead is reduce as many budget cuts as possible. We have the full support of the administration and many members in Congress. In my letter to the President Obama, I asked that he hold us harmless from budget cuts. Every 10 years, we worked to change our voting district. It's known as redistricting. Our challenge is to ensure that legislative district lines are drawn in a fairly represented way that honors our voting population. It's not easy. It's a competition, a battle with incumbent members, special interest group, cities, and county government. In New Mexico, I met with Governor Suzanne Martinez, Speaker Van Lujan, and House members. And also, this council and the Navajo Nation Human Rights Commission supported a consensus plan and House Bill 29. The measure did not pass, and the House instead passed House Bill 39. The governor called and asked for our position. We say no to House Bill 39, and the governor vetoed the bill. In Arizona, we had succeeded in having our draft redistricting map adopted. Now it's going through the 30-day public hearing. I'd like to thank all of those who participate in the public hearing. Last Friday at the Navajo Nation Museum. We still have opportunity to support the Arizona draft map. Please submit your comment to Arizona. Members of the council, thank you for the work you have shown, working in one voice to protect our voting population in all the redistricting effort. It is this sort of leadership working in purpose to achieve an important goal that gives me assurance that we can work together. Today, I have great hopes. When we began together in January, we proposed to take a renewed look at our energy capability. We know we are an important factor in the energy future of America with our resource. We have an abundant of non-renewable resource deposit which will take us into the next 100 years. We also know we have the greatest potential for renewable energy, wind and solar output. We are at the hub of the Western Interconnected, the threshold of transmission and capability of renewable energy. We can now transmit to 13 Western states. We have the transmission capability to send our energy to the Western Interconnect. What energy we produce can be sent to market and supply renewable energy with our Navajo power. We are building for the future as well. The Three Friends is being built right here in Clovis, New Mexico. Once completed, it will tie the three major power grids in the United States together for the first time. We will have capability to transmit our Navajo power anywhere in the United States. It is the first step in building up a new smart grid, a system that will transmit both renewable energy and data combined. With our capability, the Navajo Nation is truly second to none in producing renewable energy in the United States. With our non-renewable deposit, we knew that new technology would come along. We have been in discussion with two major groups to begin producing energy from coal. Liquid coal produces little or no emission. It's a proven technology in which we can use our natural resource while safely protecting our environment. Advancement is our future. Members of the council, together we made achievements in government. As you know now, our role is to make life better, to ensure service and education. It is to bring opportunity for business and jobs. It is to make health our priority. It is to protect our nation, our future. I am very pleased with our efforts in creating jobs and new business. With all of our projects proposed, idea and plan for our nation and our need in energy, we will jumpstart our economy. I have always believed that every time we make progress here on the Navajo, we add to the economy strength for our neighbors. I look forward to working with you as we achieve this together. We may have difference in our role in government, but we all have pledged our service to the people, the Navajo people. Today I stand and reaffirm that pledge. We can do so much together in building a great economy as we work together in reducing government bureaucracy, which has stopped the growth. We have much work to do on behalf of the executive branch and the many who work hard every day. I pledge my commitment. Members of the council, on behalf of the Vice President Jim and I and the First Lady, and I will wish you a successful fall session of this significant and historic legislative council. I thank you very much.